Hey everyone, welcome to Skyla AI Podcast, your go-to source for all things tech, security, and innovation. My name is Alex, and today we're diving into a topic that's disturbing, bizarre, and unfortunately more common than you'd think: swatting. Now, if this is the first time you're hearing the term swatting, you're not alone. But by the end of this episode, you'll have a thorough understanding of what swatting is, why it's such a massive problem, and most importantly, how technology, especially artificial intelligence, is helping to fight back. So, sit tight. We're going to cover a lot of ground today, and I promise it'll be an eye-opener. This is one of those topics where the deeper you dive, the more shocking it becomes. All right, let's start from the top. Swatting, as strange as it sounds, refers to the act of making a false report to emergency services, usually about a violent crime like a hostage situation or a shooting, so that a SWAT team or heavily armed police officers are sent to the victim's location. Think about that for a second. It's not just a prank call, it's sending law enforcement, trained for the most extreme situations, to an unsuspecting victim's house. Swatting started in a place you wouldn't expect, within online gaming communities. Yes, gamers. Now, before you get the wrong idea, this isn't about gamers being bad people. It's more about how the anonymity of the internet allows certain individuals to act out in harmful ways without immediate consequences. And this is where things really get complicated. To understand swatting, we first need to explore the culture of online gaming and how it led to this dangerous trend. Let's rewind the clock to the early 2000s, when online multiplayer gaming was starting to explode. Platforms like Xbox Live and PlayStation Network connected millions of players from around the world, allowing them to compete in games like Call of Duty, Halo, and World of Warcraft. For most people, gaming was, and still is, a way to unwind, have fun, and connect with others. But, as with any competitive environment, there's always a small percentage of people who take things too far. Back then, hacking in gaming was fairly common, but it wasn't necessarily malicious. Players would modify games, creating cheats, hacks, or mods to give themselves an advantage, like unlimited lives or enhanced abilities. While this was annoying for some, it wasn't exactly dangerous. However, as gaming became more competitive, especially with the rise of esports and live streaming, the stakes got higher. And when the stakes get higher, emotions get heated. This is where the dark side of gaming started to emerge, when frustration, anger, and ego combined to push some players into extreme behavior. Swatting first appeared as an escalation of in-game disputes. Two players would argue over a game, sometimes involving real money, other times just for pride, and one would decide to teach the other a lesson by calling in a fake emergency. Imagine that. You're sitting at home playing a game when suddenly a SWAT team busts through your door. It sounds like something out of a nightmare, but it's very real. What makes this even more disturbing is that swatting relies on the anonymity provided by the internet. Online, people can hide behind usernames and avatars. They feel emboldened to say and do things they would never dream of doing in person. This anonymity is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows for freedom of expression and creativity. On the other hand, it enables harassment, threats, and in extreme cases, swatting. Now, let's dig into some real-world examples because, trust me, there are plenty of swatting incidents that have made headlines over the years. These stories not only highlight the dangerous nature of swatting, but also showcase its far-reaching impact. In 2017, one of the most infamous swatting incidents occurred in Wichita, Kansas. This case involved two gamers arguing over a $1.50 bet in Call of Duty. Yes, you heard that right, $1.50. One of the players, Casey Viner, got so upset that he contacted another individual, Tyler Barris, who was notorious for making swatting calls. Barris called 911, claiming there was a hostage situation at an address that was supposedly Viner's opponent's home. But the address was wrong. The SWAT team showed up at Andrew Finch's home, an innocent man who had no involvement in the game. Tragically, Finch was shot and killed by police. This case shocked the world and brought swatting into the spotlight. Another well-known case happened to Kyle Buga Giersdorf, the 16-year-old champion of the Fortnite World Cup in 2019. Buga was live streaming a game when his house was swatted. Fortunately, the situation didn't escalate into violence, but imagine the terror of having armed officers storm your home while you're sitting there playing video games. There's also the case of popular YouTuber Jordan Mathewson, known as Kutra. He was swatted while live streaming his gameplay in 2014, and the entire incident was caught on camera. Viewers watched in shock as the SWAT team burst into his room, guns drawn, forcing him to the ground. Again, Mathewson wasn't harmed, but the trauma of that experience stays with you. These are just a few examples, but there are countless other incidents involving gamers, streamers, and even public figures. Swatting has evolved beyond the gaming world and now targets a wide range of people, including celebrities and social media influencers. The anonymity of the internet makes it difficult to track down the perpetrators, and that's one of the reasons why swatting has been so hard to combat. Let's talk about the implications of swatting, because this isn't just about a few isolated incidents. Swatting has far-reaching consequences that affect individuals, law enforcement, and entire communities. First off, there's the financial cost. Deploying a SWAT team isn't cheap. It's not like they're just sending a couple of officers to knock on your door. A full-scale SWAT response involves dozens of law enforcement officers, specialized vehicles, and sometimes even helicopters. According to some estimates, a single swatting incident can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000, depending on the size of the response. And when you multiply that by the number of swatting incidents that occur each year, you're looking at millions of dollars in wasted resources. But it doesn't stop there. Swatting ties up emergency services, diverting them away from real emergencies. Think about that for a moment. While law enforcement is responding to a fake emergency, someone else who is genuinely in danger might not be able to get the help they need. This creates a ripple effect, delaying response times and potentially putting lives at risk. Then there's the psychological toll on the victims. Even if no one gets physically hurt, the trauma of having a SWAT team storm your home is significant. Imagine sitting in your living room or playing a video game, and suddenly, heavily armed officers burst through the door, shouting orders and pointing guns at you. It's a terrifying experience, and for many victims, the fear and anxiety don't go away after the officers leave. Victims often suffer from long-term emotional distress, including symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. They may feel unsafe in their own homes, constantly worrying that it could happen again. And finally, swatting damages the relationship between law enforcement and the public. When swatting incidents happen frequently, it creates a sense of skepticism. People may start to wonder if emergency responders are taking calls seriously or if they're being overly cautious because of the possibility of a hoax. This erosion of trust can make communities feel less safe and make it harder for law enforcement to do their jobs effectively. Now that we've explored the origins and consequences of swatting, let's talk about solutions. How do we stop this dangerous trend? And more importantly, how can technology, specifically AI, play a role in combating it? One of the most promising solutions lies in the integration of cybersecurity and physical threat detection technologies. In other words, we need to blend digital security with real-world defense mechanisms to create a multi-layered approach to stopping swatting before it escalates. And this is where artificial intelligence shines. At the forefront of this effort is AI-powered visual weapon detection. This technology uses advanced, deep learning algorithms to scan surveillance cameras and detect weapons in real time. The system can identify firearms, knives, and other dangerous objects with incredible speed and accuracy. What makes this technology so powerful is its ability to differentiate between real weapons and harmless items. For example, the AI can tell the difference between a toy gun and a real one, or between someone holding a kitchen knife versus a weapon intended for harm. This drastically reduces false alarms and helps law enforcement focus on real threats. The AI is constantly learning and improving. The more data it processes, the better it becomes at recognizing threats and filtering out false positives. This is critical because one of the biggest challenges law enforcement faces is distinguishing between real emergencies and hoaxes like swatting. AI-powered threat detection can help bridge that gap by providing real-time information that allows officers to assess the situation more accurately before they respond. But AI isn't just about physical threat detection. It's also a key player in cybersecurity. One of the reasons swatting has been so difficult to combat is because swatters often use tools like caller ID spoofing to disguise their identity. They might make the call from a blocked number or use software that makes it look like the call is coming from a different location. AI-powered cybersecurity solutions can help by monitoring and analyzing communication networks to detect patterns of suspicious activity. For example, an AI system might flag a call as potentially malicious if it notices certain red flags, such as a blocked number or inconsistencies in the caller's story. Additionally, encryption plays a huge role in preventing swatting. By encrypting communications, we can make it much more difficult for swatters to intercept or manipulate data. Strong encryption protocols ensure that only authorized users have access to sensitive information, reducing the risk of cyber attacks that could lead to swatting incidents. Now, while technology is a crucial part of the solution, it's not the only piece of the puzzle. Human awareness and training are just as important. Emergency dispatchers and law enforcement officers need to be trained to recognize the signs of a potential swatting attempt. There are several red flags that can help identify a swatting call before it escalates. Uniqueness of the call. In real emergency situations, you'll often receive multiple calls from different witnesses. If there's only one call reporting a major incident, it's worth questioning whether it's a hoax. Caller ID anomalies. If the caller's phone number is blocked, spoofed, or shows signs of tampering, that's a major red flag. Inconsistent details. Swatters often struggle to provide specific details about the location or situation. They might give vague or incorrect information about addresses, names, or landmarks. Odd weapon terminology. Sometimes swatters will use weapon names that sound like they're out of a video game, which can be another clue that the call isn't legitimate. By being aware of these signs, dispatchers can take extra steps to verify the credibility of the call before sending a SWAT team. In some cases, this could mean contacting the supposed victim directly to confirm whether there's an actual emergency. So, what's next in the fight against swatting? As AI technology continues to evolve, we'll see even more sophisticated tools for detecting and preventing swatting. At Skyla, we're at the forefront of this innovation. Our AI-powered security solutions are designed to protect people from threats like swatting by reducing false alarms and providing real-time threat detection. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Podcast with Alex. We've covered a lot of ground, from the roots of swatting to the incredible ways AI is stepping up to combat this issue. If you've learned something new today, or if this episode got you thinking about the role of technology in public safety, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Stay safe and be sure to join us next time as we explore more intriguing topics. See you soon.